Hey everybody, this is Jordan Gaynor from the B-Movie Film Vault.
And this is Silent Steve.
Who's not so silent when it comes to Godzilla as you...
Yeah, the name's gotten very ironic.
This is our second episode. The last one, our premiere episode was all about Gareth Edwards' Godzilla. This one is all over the place. We discussed King Kong a tiny bit in the last one, so we thought we'd touch upon those this time.
Definitely, that was something that we wanted to do. We couldn't go into depth, really, during the Godzilla podcast, but we both got in the mood to talk about King Kong, so we're going to do it.
In fact, we just finished watching the original.
And Escapes.
And Escapes, which was so hilarious. But first of all, before we get into that, we'd like to say happy birthday to Christopher Lee. He turned 92 years old, May 27th, which was just a few days ago.
And to the late Vincent Price. Is
yes.
His birthday also the 27th?
His birthday was the same date, May 27th, and it's been 21 years since he passed away.
Yeah, so indeed, happy birthday to those gentlemen.
And what's your favorite Vincent Price movie?
That's tough. Actually, it's tough for both guys because their catalog is so huge.
Yeah.
With Vincent, one that I always love to watch is Last Man on Earth.
That's the best adaptation of that story.
Definitely.
Still.
Yeah, and I have a soft spot in my heart for a House on Haunted Hill.
Yeah, I'm hard-pressed to pick out a favorite for Vincent Price, because there's Theater of Blood, which is like a really fun one. There's The Conqueror Worm, a.k.a. Witchfinder General. Have you seen that one?
I don't think so.
That's brilliant. He goes town to town, and he pretends he's like a Salem witch hunter, and he accuses innocent people and collects money for it. He's just a bastard in that movie.
The Conqueror Worm, starring Vincent Price in the most diabolic role of his career.
And then, The Tingler. I love The Tingler.
So, but it's called Conqueror Worm, so it's also... Because he also did Pit and the Pendulum?
Probably,
So would that be two...
It's got like a Poe reference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are two Poes, aren't they?
I believe so.
Yeah.
He did a lot of Poe movies.
Yeah.
And I love all of them. So,
yeah.
Happy birthday to those two gentlemen. Also, Christopher Lee has a heavy metal album out. He
Check it out.
Yeah.
It's more of him talking over heavy metal.
His voice is awesome.
Yeah. It's still better than most of the stuff.
I'm just talking. It's perfect. There's this weird movie called The Return of Captain Invincible. It's not a sequel or anything. It's just a standalone movie. It's a musical. Alan Arkin's a superhero, and Christopher Lee is like the villain, and he sings in it. It is like the oddest
feel
thing.
like I have to watch this based on what you just said.
I own it. I'll bring it over sometime.
Yeah, definitely.
When the evil Mr. Midnight threatens America.
Today, New York. Tomorrow, the world.
It's time for the return of Captain Invincible, the hero who's forgotten how to fly.
Well, pick some favorite movies from him.
For Christopher Lee?
Yeah.
See, a lot of people are like, Wicker Man's my favorite Christopher Lee movie. I still haven't watched it.
It's way, way better than Nicolas Cage.
Not the bees! But nobody gets cold-cocked by anybody in a bear costume in the original, I guess, right? Does that happen in the original?
No.
But Christopher Lee, like a favorite. Say what you have to say, and I'll think about it some more, because I'm...
Well, Wicker Man is Christopher Lee's favorite. I think that's why people go to that one.
Yeah.
But Horror Express...
Horror Express, I love that movie.
Is amazing.
I love it.
Travel with us, if you dare, on the Horror Express.
And what I like about that, he does like a role reversal in the middle of the movie that's perfect.
Yeah.
When it starts out, you think he's like the evil professor who found this thing and he's going to defend it.
Yeah.
He ends up taking it out like he's just going to be the hero.
Yeah.
You know. So it's like
he and Peter Cushing.
Yeah. If you ever want to see those two in a movie together, that's the one.
Also, another good one with those two is The Creeping Flesh. I saw it years ago when I was a kid on WVIA. It was a late movie.
Yeah.
On like Uncle Ted's House of Horror or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's a cool one because Christopher Lee plays the character you think he'll be in Horror Express. Peter Cushing discovers a skeleton. It's like an ancient form of man that no one's ever seen before. But he also discovers that when water interacts with the skeleton, it starts to regrow flesh and sinew and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And then he takes some blood from it when it like starts to grow again, and he discovers it's the source of all evil. Because of this thing existing, all humanity has evil in their DNA.
I vaguely remember that one.
And at the end, like, it comes back to collect its finger from him. And then Christopher Lee throws his ass in, like, a sane asylum at the very end of the movie. Because nobody believes his crazy story. Like, the skeleton is among us. I have to say those are two of my favorites.
Well, the thing is, like, those guys, and now that you mentioned Peter Cushing, guys like that, like, there aren't actors like that anymore.
No.
I mean, those guys could have easily been doing Shakespeare, but they took every role that they did seriously. Nobody does that anymore.
Yeah.
People evaluate the script and, like, figure out if they're going to do a campy, like phone it in ahead of time. They didn't do that. They gave it their all every time. And no matter how bad the movie was, they weren't bad in it. You don't see that anymore.
Yeah.
Either the movie's totally bad and everybody in it is bad, or it's, good.
Yeah. There is one more movie I want to see with... It has all three of them. It has Price, Cushing, and Christopher Lee. It's called The House of Long Shadows. I have not seen that yet, but I will track it down.
You kind of have to see it when it has all three of them.
I think it's like a murder mystery or something in a house, but...
Alright, but yes, definitely happy birthday to those gentlemen.
Yeah, happy birthday, guys. We miss you, Vincent. Up next here, our first segment of this show after our happy birthday greetings, we're going to talk about the summer blockbusters coming out and what we're looking forward to. And there's not much.
I'm going to go ahead and say that, and you're going to have to change the timestamp so that I sound like a genius, but Spider-Man's going to underperform.
No.
Yeah.
But there's 3 villains in it. How could it underperform?
I know. Before we get into our predictions, what an underwhelming start to the season, really. Other than, obviously, Godzilla, which... It's so funny that they the tracking for that had it at like 75 million,
and they blew it out of the water.
Blew it out of the water.
It helped Warner Brothers get to $1 billion this year already.
Yeah,
that's insane.
So, other than that, and that's iffy with a lot of people.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's been such an underwhelming start to the season.
Well,
past summers, like there have been a definite flagpole that started everything, and got you in the mood to see more movies. Spider-Man was not it. And I think looking back on 2014, arguably the best summer movie, like as far as summer popcorn movie, came out in April.
Oh, Captain America?
Yeah.
Oh man, it was so good.
So, yeah, I think we're looking at a very underwhelming summer overall. Like,
well, it's weird. I think they released all the good movies earlier this year.
At
least all the good family movies, because I saw most of them with you and your kids.
They did, and it's becoming to the point where like there aren't movie seasons anymore. It's just if there's a movie that everybody's going to go see, they're going to go see it, whether it's Gravity or the Lego Movie.
Yeah.
There's going to be one movie that everybody's going to go see that week.
Yeah.
And all the others are just going to go down the drain.
Yeah, because it's all about opening weekend.
Yeah. So, ahead, I guess what's coming out, what just came out would be Maleficent, and I don't know if that's going to do anything.
That and A Million Ways to Die in the West.
I think those are just going to, like, go silently into the night.
Yeah.
I think Maleficent will probably do, like, maybe, if it's lucky, 150 million. If it's very lucky, that would be a hit for it, I think.
Are we just talking domestically or internationally?
Domestically.
Okay.
Because it's Disney.
Yeah.
You're going to have people that will show up to it. But, who is asking for that?
Nobody. Yeah, I mean, it's reception for it's been lukewarm so far. Like, my mother is obsessed with Disney, so anytime a new Disney movie comes out, she will go see it.
That's basically what Disney relies on.
Yeah, repeat business like that. But even she said it was good, but I could tell that it's a movie she's going to forget about in like a week.
Yeah. But coming out beyond this weekend, I guess June 6th, Edge of Tomorrow is coming out.
Yes, with Tom Cruise.
Which we've been joking around and calling Edge of Groundhog Day.
Yeah. It's funny, too, because a lot of people seem to look forward to it, but they're all crestfallen that Tom Cruise is starring in it. They're like, it looks really cool, but it has Tom Cruise.
Yeah, a mutual friend of ours, Chris Morelli, says that it's just another high-concept science fiction movie that he would probably want to watch if Tom Cruise wasn't in it. Which is like...
Should be on the poster.
Yeah. Here's the thing with Cruise. He doesn't, like, really ever fail in a movie, but he doesn't add anything to it.
Yeah.
And he's never been anything other than Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
He could be like the Jackie Chan of America, where he's just named Tom Cruise in every movie and nobody would care, because that's what he's bringing to it, you know?
Just like Brad Pitt is Brad Pitt.
Yeah. Well, actually, Brad has done a couple roles.
Well, he's got a bigger range than Tom Cruise.
He has an acting range. He just doesn't visit it often. Tom Cruise has no acting range. He was entertaining, and I don't know if you've seen it, Magnolia.
No, I haven't seen it.
But anybody could have done that role, and it would have been entertaining because of how it was written. It was the way he added to it was because it was things that you wouldn't expect him to say, but it was still him being Tom Cruise. Like, it wasn't a great acting job.
Yeah.
It was just a good casting hire for the dialogue that they had written. But enough about that. Anybody, I guess, might be interested in that. Whatever. I've heard some good things about it, but it's irrelevant because I have no interest in it.
Yeah. So
I'll see it if I see it.
that's a DVD rental.
Yeah. On the 13th, there's 22 Jump Street and How to Train Your Dragon 2. I know which one I would be pushed into if I had to see it.
Yeah. I'm all for How to Train Your Dragon 2, and I haven't even seen the first one.
It's I still don't know how the Vikings have Scottish accents. But the first one was, for a kid's movie, it was pretty entertaining. It's the Karate Kid with dragons, basically.
Well, you sold it to me.
It's just, nerdy kid has a talent thing, and it ends up helping him in the end.
No, of course.
So it's that story.
Yeah.
But
The outcast becomes the hero. Yay.
Seeing the previews of the second one so far, I think it's just going to make money based on the first one. I don't see how it's going to be great.
Yeah.
They're using a lot of the jokes from the first one in the trailer, which isn't a good sign. But it's a kids movie, and it's the first big kids movie since Lego Movie, I guess.
And
so it'll
all the
make
kids'
a lot
movies
of
have
money.
been good this year. We saw Peabody and Sherman, and that was
Peabody
surprisingly good.
Yeah, I ended up liking
Lego
that
Movie
one.
was excellent. Was there another one? along the way?
Muppets. We
The
saw Muppets.
It was okay, but I didn't hate it. I enjoyed it.
It was a Muppets movie.
I like the Muppets.
Yeah. 22 Jump Street.
I have no interest in it.
Ladies, nobody cared about the Jump Street reboot, but you got lucky. So now this department has invested a lot of money to make sure Jump Street keeps going. The only problem is the Koreans bought the church back, so we're moving you across the road to 22 Jump Street.
The trailers haven't sold me on it, but then again, the first movie was the same
trailer's
way.
like, I didn't think the first one was going to be that good, and I ended up chuckling a few times. I haven't seen it more than once.
Yeah.
But it wasn't bad.
It has one of the better cameos at the end of the movie.
Yeah. He won't be back, I
No.
don't think, but yeah.
They'll find a way to get Johnny Depp back in there.
So yeah, it looks like I'm not doing anything that weekend.
Then the week after is Transformers: Age of Extinction and Snowpiercer. Transformers, I want to see it. I'm sorry. I apologize to you, Steve.
Yeah, you don't have to. There's obviously they always make a bunch of money.
Yeah.
There's obviously a big audience for it. I'm just not one of them. And it's not.
I saw Optimus Prime
I-
punched Grimlock in the face with his shield and scream, and I'm like, yeah, I'm seeing this.
It's so hard to mess up Transformers, and somehow Bay does it for me.
Well, see, the first one was actually pretty decent, and everyone's like, wow, this could work. And then
The
two
first
came
one was
along.
just surprisingly
Not terrible.
Not terrible. It's not that it was good though, and all the good moments were just finally seeing it live action. The story was just a nightmare, okay, to get through.
Well, half of it's a quest for a pair of spectacles.
Half of it is Shia LaBeouf trying to get laid. I mean, I don't want to watch that for like 90 minutes. So, yeah, it's and that's also why I won't watch Nymphomaniac. But anyway, no.
And then Snowpiercer is a weird one because it's an Asian film. This one is an American remake of it, where it's like a class battle on a train that eternally goes around the world, I guess. I don't know.
The story's confused. Wait, it's a remake?
It's a remake. It's an American remake with Captain America Chris Evans in the lead role.
What'd they do? Reshoot?
No, this is a completely new movie because they brought the original Snowpiercer to America, I think, or they were planning to, and then they recut the hell out of it.
Yeah.
But they also did a complete remake of it.
That's bizarre.
It is bizarre, and I saw a preview for it, and I'm like, it looks watchable, but it's going to fade. Transformers is going to blow it out of the water.
I would like to watch the original because I like that director. He's the director of The Host.
Oh, okay. I know.
He also did Memories of Murder is a really good movie if you catch
I
that.
haven't seen that one. What's his name? Like Byung. There's nothing we could say right now that would be racist unless we looked it up.
I think Bong Ho or something.
Jung Bun Ho.
Or yeah, if
I don't have my phone with me, we can't look it up.
yeah.
Okay.
You look it up.
I'll look. Yeah.
Whoever's listens to
listeners,
this.
look it up on your computers.
He's definitely a very good director. I don't want to mess up his name
Yeah.
with something racist.
All right, and that's pretty much all you have to look forward in June. July kicks off with Fast and the Furious 7. Are you going to see it?
It has.
There's two reasons
Tony
I'll go
Jaa's
see
in
that.
it, right?
Yes, Tony Jaa
But
has a
he'll
small
be in it
role.
like he'll be in it like 10 minutes. It's not worth sitting through.
So he's been working on his English then. If
The
he's
last
in
Fast and the Furious I saw was the first one.
Oof.
So I've missed 6 of them.
Well, the last one revealed
Or
that.
5.
Spoiler alert: Jason Statham's the bad guy, and this one's gonna have Tony Jaa and no, what's his name? Help me out. Jack Burton.
What?
Jack Burton. Kurt Russell.
Oh,
I'm throwing you a character name because that's how I remember stuff sometimes.
McCready is how you're going to
McCready?
get me with him.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So McCready's in it
Yeah, McCready.
as like a
Well,
father figure to Vin Diesel.
Here's the thing. This is sort of like this falls into the Transformers thing. I'm not the target audience anymore for that.
Yeah.
I knew when I watched the first one, I'm not into cars enough to like this. I had a real serious issue when I was watching the first one with Paul Walker treating his superiors the same way that he acted in front of the people he was supposedly undercover for. I thought he would just, like, when he was around his superiors, act like a cop, and he didn't. He acted like a kid, and I hated that. And I was like, I don't want to watch this movie anymore. So I never wanted to watch it after that. It's more like Twilight. I'm not the target audience. And it can just go to the people who like it, and I don't care. But
I might give it a watch just based on the cast.
I don't think it's going to get the Heath Ledger bump because of Paul Walker's death.
Yeah.
Because Heath Ledger's death had like some mystery around it. You wonder why he died, because it seemed like an overdose at first. And his acting in the movie was so over the top and great that people are like, oh, the role drained him, There's all this mystery around it. There's no mystery here. He got in a car accident. It's tragic, but I don't think it's going to be like... And the way they're going to bring his brothers in and like CGI him, and I don't know how it's going to go. So
it's going to be...
I don't think it's going to get the same bump. I could be wrong, and I wouldn't care if it was. So there you go.
Then the week after is something I want to see, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
I'm very excited for this movie. I don't know if I'm going to catch it in the theater, unfortunately, just because of my schedule in my personal life, but I desperately want to see it because I love the director, Matt Reeves, right? That's his name, right?
I'll say yes.
I love him so much I can't remember his name. No, he did Cloverfield, and he did Let Me In, which is the American version of Let the Right One In.
Okay.
Not a remake.
Yeah.
Interesting enough. He got the story at the same time they were developing that movie.
Oh, okay.
Okay? And he developed his own spin on the story.
Which I think was probably better than the original.
It is very... I don't know if I'm going to step on anybody's toes listening to this, but I like it way better than the original. And trust me, I'm somebody who enjoys foreign films. The original was way too much into pedophilia for me.
Yeah, it was a little out there.
And...
I was done after the CGI cats attacked that woman.
Yeah, there's just so much in it
like,
that,
what?
like, there's some people who will like a movie more because there's subtitles.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not that person. But I know when I see a good movie, and I'm not haughty enough to not watch a movie with subtitles. That being said, Let Me In, the American one, the themes are amazing. It deals a lot more with loneliness. And finding anybody when you're alone is better than nothing.
Yeah.
There's none of that in the original one. The Swedish one.
I believe so. Or Norwegian. It's
whatever it is. Those 3 countries should just merge over there. So anyway.
But yeah, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. Andy Serkis's performance in the first one. Or whatever one.
His mocap performance.
Oh,
it was awesome.
Well, when have you ever said Andy Serkis's performance is bad?
Yeah.
I mean, the guy is just amazing. So, Caesar stole the show.
Oh.
It didn't even need to be about anything else but him. I think it would have been probably a better movie if it was just him and John Lithgow.
Right?
Like crazy John Lithgow. But just seeing where they go with the story, if maybe they tie it in somehow.
I think it's going to be like Battle for the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
It ended with a skirmish and the apes got away. And now they have their own society. Humanity's falling down because of the virus that was released by Tyler Labine in the last movie. So it should be interesting. I think there's going to be some battles, and then I wonder how they're going to go from there. I wonder if time travel is eventually going to mix into this. I doubt it, but you never know.
I doubt it too, but their themes seem to be genetics.
Yeah.
The themes in the original one was more of like a nuclear holocaust kind of thing that
Yeah.
led to. There's no ruling that out that it'll lead to that. But at the moment, I just want to see where they take the story.
Yeah.
It just seems like it's fun. Seems like they're going to do a good job. July 25th, Jupiter Ascending and Hercules. Also a weekend where I can just plan wherever.
Yes.
I'll go to the beach or. Jupiter Ascending looks so weird, and it's just like another movie where the Wachowskis are just pushing their fetishes on the audience.
But now it's for space elves with special
What
powers.
is he? He's supposed to be like half wolf or something.
I don't
And
know.
Who cares?
I don't know.
Here's the thing, my problem with Channing Tatum, and he seems like a nice guy, but they're trying to put him in, like, this is our new leading man. That is not for Hollywood to decide. That is for the viewing audience to decide.
Yeah.
And it isn't for, like, you don't go out and you don't conduct, like, research polls and see what teenage girls think, okay? What you do is you just release a movie, and if a movie's successful, you say, well, maybe it was somebody in the cast, and then you put them in more movies.
Yeah.
You don't just, like... when they try to find the star ahead of time, it's cringy to me. I don't want to watch it.
On the plus side, this might be like an original story for a change.
I don't know how much of a plus side that is, because even original stories, they still follow a format that's predictable.
Yeah.
And anymore, like the ones that are original are the ones that are very familiar, and that's how they got greenlit. Anything that's really out there, really unique, just doesn't get made anymore.
Or if it does, it gets like theatrical screening in New York, LA, then shipped off to DVD quietly.
Yeah.
That's where magnet releasing comes in.
Yeah. And I guess 50 Shades of Grey's...
we didn't even talk about Hercules. You're skipping.
Oh, did I? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's okay, because the movie's going to be about The Rock hitting CGI animals that are 5 times larger than they should be with a big club.
I don't know how much I can say about this. I haven't seen the trailer, and I don't need to.
That's the trailer. I just told you. A lot of slow-mo shots of giant CGI animals.
It's Scorpion King, then.
No, it's Hercules.
Okay.
He might strangle a snake when he's a kid.
Look, the thing that's fun about the old Hercules movies is they'd find some huge guy that couldn't act and just put him in outrageous scenes, and it was fun.
Yeah, but they had screen presence.
Now they found a huge guy that can't act and just don't put him in anything that's actually happening.
What's weird is I always thought The Rock was going to be like next in line to be like the action star of the new
He wanted to
generation.
be. Yeah.
He was close, but they starred in too many terrible movies.
I just don't think it's there anymore. I think that well is so dry, and we'll get to that when we talk about Expendables 3.
Yes.
I think this, for reasons I don't understand, America does not warm up to those movies anymore, and
No.
they definitely should, but they don't.
It's killing me that when Stallone or Schwarzenegger stars in a movie by themselves, even if it's like halfway decent, which they all have been, they tank. They get 6-8 million in their opening weekend, and then they die off. Expendables somehow keeps bringing in the millions.
Well, not a lot though. I mean, really, per star, it's only bringing in what they do individually.
Pretty much, yeah. But I mean, you know what I mean, though.
Yeah.
It seems that they're far more popular. I mean, even though they're mixing in some MMA fighters and whatnot.
All right, let's go to August 1st.
Yeah,
a date I'm excited for. I'm definitely going to see Guardians of the Galaxy.
50 Shades of Grey. I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Thank you. Isn't that like a great... I think that'll be a big weekend, because that was such a good idea to pair those two together. Like,
You have an adventure movie for the guys, and you have this slutty, romantic-ish
yes,
tale
you can
for the women.
you can go to the movies with your date and go to separate theaters.
Yeah. and both of you will soak the seats in
Yeah.
each different theater.
Guardians of the Galaxy I'm very excited for, because it's just so out there, and the comic is so out there, and it's such a risk. And people don't realize, we're looking in hindsight here at the success of Marvel, what a risk it was putting that much money into Iron Man.
Oh, yeah.
It was not a mainline character. It was there wasn't the same kind of level of built-in audience. And you had Robert Downey Jr., who was not the success he is now at the time.
Yeah.
He was just coming out of I mean, he had been clean for quite a few years.
Yeah,
but he had to still prove himself again, and it was a huge risk. That movie ended up panning out great.
Yeah,
and it ended up leading us to some really great movies.
Oh yeah.
And I don't think people realize that. I really hope that Marvel, when it takes these risks like Guardian of the Galaxy, I really hope they make their money back on it. Because they're really rewarding the audience with good stories.
Yeah. But, yeah, and I'm a big fan of the director James Gunn. I have not seen a James Gunn film that I have not liked so far.
I mean, they're not perfect. They're not the best movies ever, some of them. But they respect the audience, and they respect the material, the source material they come from, which goes a long way with me.
Oh, yeah. And they're fun. They're fun. That's the big thing. Slither, I haven't seen Lolly Love, but apparently that's like got released by Troma. It's like a romantic comedy he made. He wrote the Dawn of the Dead remake. He wrote the Scooby-Doo live-action movies. What else is in? Oh, Super. He made Super.
Yes.
With, was it Rainn Wilson?
Mm-hmm.
I love that movie. It was so bizarre. But I think he was the perfect director for this. And I'm excited because I just put it on the internet yesterday that Josh Brolin's playing Thanos. They're going to
Yes,
Thanos
I saw that. Yeah.
So I wonder if it's going to further merge the Guardians of the Galaxy into the Avengers universe.
Well, they have a plan. They have like a plan till 2026 or something,
yeah.
which I hope it takes us there. But
even though I'm scared that Ant-Man might not be as good now that Edgar Wright has walked off the project due to creative differences.
Edgar, that could be good or bad. Edgar's more of a comedian director, and they probably want to.
I think they want a more
keep
serious
the tone.
movie.
Well, I think they want the tone same throughout the universe.
Yeah.
Marvel hasn't misstepped so far. Not real huge.
Yeah.
I'm going to trust them at the moment, and I'm hoping that Edgar Wright made his decision because he wanted what's best for the story.
Yeah.
And he just either realized he wasn't the right person or that what he wanted to do wasn't going to work.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping at the moment. So what happens, happens.
Yeah. We're still going to see it regardless.
Is What's-His-Face still going to be Ant-Man?
Paul Rudd?
Yeah.
I believe so. Nothing's changed with the
What's
cast.
His Face? Yeah.
Yeah, what's his face? The guy in those funny movies.
All right, and then
50 Shades of Grey, we're not really going to discuss that. It's not our thing.
Yeah, that falls into the Twilight, Fast and Furious.
I'm going to end up seeing it. My fiance is going to be like, I want to got that.
Is it? It's got to be R, right?
It's R.
Isn't that a shame that that's the R movie you get for the year? It's not a great action movie. Well, it may be with Expendables, but it's not like it's not a new Commando or a new Predator or a new Rambo. It's 50 Shades of Grey is your R movie this year. All right, August 8th. Into the Storm, which is just weather porn as far as I can tell. I've seen the preview twice now, and there's no actors in it that I've seen. Like, Who are the actors in this movie?
The actors are CGI tornadoes. I think
it's like the Weather Channel, the movie, I guess.
It's a spin-off.
This is what I hate about the Weather Channel now. You turn the Weather Channel on, there's no weather. It's all these tornado stories. I want to know what the temperature is, whatever.
Hang on, we're going to talk about a hurricane that happened 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Actually, I think Into the Storm's actually a spin-off of Man of Steel. It's the tornado that killed Clark Kent's dad.
You're going to see... you're going to see Kevin Costner flying around the screen every few minutes.
As long as he gets smacked
They'll
off
look
a building.
like the postman by the end of the movie.
Oh, no, that would be interesting.
And also, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is coming out August 8th, which you're optimistic because that's your personality.
It's not that I'm optimistic. It's that I'm going to wait and see what they do with it before I go fucking insane like all the fans have online.
It just looks horrible.
Well, everyone's like, they're too big. They're supposed to be ninjas. I'm like, if they're bigger turtles, they're fighting a bigger threat.
It's not the aesthetic. It's different things for me. It's I don't care if they have noses or stuff or lips or whatever.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Okay.
That isn't what it is. It's that first of all of a sudden a lot of the Japanese background is gone because
they made Shredder a white guy.
Shredder's a white guy because the bad guy always has to be white now. I'm going to say it. The bad guy has to always be white now. And
it's reverse racism.
No, it isn't. It has to be realistic. The white guy has been the bad guy a lot.
Yeah.
But it has to work within the story. They're ninjas, but they're huge.
No, they're about 7 feet tall now.
So how are they quiet?
They're probably not that quiet.
I guess they're also hiring like 40-year-olds to sound like teenagers, and
I do agree with one choice for that. The guy that played Thad on Blue Mountain State is Raphael.
Is he still the voice?
As far as I know.
I thought they were firing everybody and restarting.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I've been following it that closely.
I as far as I know, well, obviously Johnny Knoxville wasn't Leonardo in the motion capture, so that guy's voice isn't going to be in it. So I thought they were just rebooting the voices.
No, could be.
It just looks ham-fisted and rushed and.
Well, it's a Michael Bay production.
The only thing I liked in that preview was that it says Nickelodeon Films presents, and then all of a sudden there's a guy with a machine gun in a subway, like shooting into the air, and it was such like a juxtaposition of imagery. But yeah, whatever. I know right now I'm not gonna watch it. I'm gonna wait and see what everybody says. And
yeah.
There are a few people I will trust.
I not being one of them. Hey Steve, it was actually pretty good. Yeah, I'm not seeing it.
All right, so August 15th, what comes out, Jordan?
The Expendables 3. Wow, that is a busy weekend for me, because that's my birthday weekend. The day before that's the Rift Tracks Godzilla 98 thing.
Which everyone should go and find.
Oh, yeah. And then Expendables 3, and then the Palace Theater in Syracuse is having Revenge Fest that weekend on that Saturday, where they're showing like Taxi Driver, Venus and Furs, Miss 45, and 2 other revenge-themed flicks. So I'm probably going to hit that up, too. But, yeah, Expendables 3.
On time, you boys showed up.
The guys from all the previous films, except for Bruce Willis, because he's a dick and wanted more money. which, you know, whatever.
I can't figure him out.
But they added Kelsey Grammer, they added Mel Gibson, Harrison Ford, Antonio Banderas, and Wesley Snipes to the mix. Oh, and Kellen Lutz, who was in this terrible Hercules movie from January.
I was watching the trailer. I said to somebody that this whole cast like owes the government taxes.
So Wesley Snipes.
And that's pretty much like why everyone's doing the movie. I really like what Stallone's trying to do.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's gotten over that hump yet.
Yeah.
I'm hoping this one does it. I just don't think it's gotten over that hump yet to feel like an 80s movie.
The second one was closer. You still haven't seen the second one.
No, I haven't.
The first one
I'll be
was
honest.
The first one was a little disappointing, I admit. And then the second one gets closer to being right for being like an 80s action movie, an over-the-top action movie.
Yeah.
So maybe this one will be like, okay, we've finally done it.
Well, this is their final shot, I guess. I mean, trilogies is how it works.
Yeah. Yeah, trilogies are the thing now. That annoys me.
Okay, August 22nd. I'm just going to go ahead and... It's because I want to get into Kong.
Okay.
August 22nd is Sin City, A Dame to Die For, which took forever to get made, I guess.
Well, originally A Dame to Kill For, but the MPAA was like, no, the connotation there is murder. Well, no shit.
They also took down one of their posters.
Eva Green's poster because her miraculous breasts and her nipples are sticking through a sheer like nightgown. You know, big deal.
Was it a nightgown? I thought it was a man's shirt.
I don't care. You see your nipples through it, so I was like, cool. Oh, it's taken down? Oh.
But here's the thing. They took it down and drew more attention to it. Now every kid has seen it.
Yeah.
That's how that works. Don't they realize that? If they had let it just go up on the side of a theater, no one would have looked at it. Because who looks at posters anymore? Yeah, unless it's a movie you might want to ask the guy, hey, can I take this poster home? It's not going to be a poster you look at. So, right. I bet you they printed some up and now they're
collector's items.
They're collector's items.
Yes.
Go find it. Never sign it, and it'll be worse.
Sign it right here in between the cleavage. Thank you. That'll be $20? Okay.
I'll put myself out there and say I wasn't crazy about the first Sin City.
It was cool, but
it was stylistically cool. I just couldn't.
It didn't blow my mind, and I didn't like the movie enough to own it, which
felt
says a lot.
Have you seen Dick Tracy with Warren Beatty?
When I was a kid, I tried to watch that movie and I couldn't get into it.
It felt like that to me, though.
Really? I'm gonna have to go back and revisit that.
You don't have to do that.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
It's not a great movie.
Okay.
It's just that it felt like that to me, where they were trying to reproduce the style from something that was in print visually.
Yeah.
And they did it, but none of the substance was there. And that's what it sort of felt like with Sin City. The only thing that saved the movie was Mickey Rourke.
Oh, yeah.
But you couldn't really make the whole movie about him.
Yeah.
He's back, I guess, in this one?
Yes.
Which is going to be a draw.
Yeah.
But I'm not really excited.
Everyone's going to go see Eva Green go topless in one scene and Jessica Alba writhing on a stage in a cowboy outfit. So there's 2 pluses. when you go see the movie.
So if you're a complete pig, go watch Sin City, A Dame to Kill/Die For.
That's your summer movie outlook. I'll tell you which ones.
And it's bleak.
It is bleak. But I'll tell you, Transformers, How to Train Your Dragon 2, Fast and the Furious, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, Guardians of the Galaxy, Expendables, those are going to be the high rollers for the summer, in my opinion. They're going to do the best. The other ones, maybe not so much. 22 Jump Street will probably do fine.
Well, those are the ones we highlighted because we wanted to talk about them.
Yeah.
There are movies that are going to make money. The Melissa McCarthy movie will make money. I think the
Oh, God, I forgot that was coming out. Not a fan.
Well, here's the thing I think about Melissa McCarthy. I think she's a good comedian, but the thing that they do now is they find a good comedian and they put them in a movie that's has zero script and they expect them to make the movie funny.
Yeah.
And it never works. You have to have a funny script first, or the movie's not going to be funny.
That's true.
It's just relying on improv that much in a comedy it's hit or miss.
Yeah.
And that means the scenes are hit or miss.
Yeah.
So you never have a great movie anymore that's a comedy, unless it's written well.
Yeah.
And they just aren't.
Yeah.
So that's what I think about that. The other movie I think might be a little bit of a dark horse is the sequel to The Purge.
I forgot about that one.
And
I actually want to see
because
that.
I think those high concept... I'm not going to watch it, but I think those high concept movies like that draw an audience.
Yeah.
Because the first one did. But the problem with the first one, it didn't have staying power because it didn't really pay off what the concept was.
Yeah.
They kept it all in the house, I guess. And nobody... They're like... Now they're putting it on the world stage like people thought it was going to be. Mm-hmm. If they do that right, I think it'll have... over 100, maybe.
Yeah. Well, I think they're just trying to keep the budget low in the first movie and introduce the concept.
Oh, they'll keep it. I'm gonna go ahead and compare this to like a Saw franchise kind of model, where it's high concept. You understand the concept, and people are gonna go to watch that concept regardless of who's in it.
Yeah.
So.
But I did enjoy it. There's two movies that came out around the same time. There's You're Next, which is like a home invasion flick.
Which was supposed to be good, but I didn't see
I
it.
hated it.
Did you?
I was told it was really funny and like tongue-in-cheek, and it is to a point, but when I watched it, I was like, this is boring.
That's how I felt about Scream.
Yeah. And then I saw The Purge, I'm like, oh, more of the same. And I watched it, I'm like, wow, this is actually a lot better. I'm enjoying this more. So I am excited for The Purge 2.
The problem with comedy in a horror movie, it has to be in doses, because if there's too much comedy, it affects the tone, and it makes you feel like, well, the characters don't feel like there's a whole lot at stake, so why should I?
Yeah.
You don't have the same fear that they do, and it affects the movie totally.
Truthfully, I think the horror genre is in a rough shape at the moment.
Well, because the only R-rated movie is 50 Shades of Grey right now.
Yeah. It's not just the PG-13 rating, it's just that, they just keep rehashing the same stuff over and over. I will admit I am excited because I read next year that not only are we getting a new Friday the 13th from Paramount, the rights went back to them, and it's coming out on Friday the 13th, November 13th next year, but they're doing a TV series too, where Jason's going to be an integral part of the story, which I think is weird. I don't know if it's going to be like,
Will it be like the Hanna-Barbera Godzilla thing, where they they signal and he shows up? Alright, so that's your summer.
Segment 2 of our show is King Kong. We just watched the original to kind of refresh our memories.
And it's been like, it's probably 15 years since I've seen that. Easily.
It's been as long for me too. So
it holds up. I liked it. It's paced like an old movie, but here's the thing. And before we get into rankings, and I don't want to run you over like I did with Godzilla.
Okay.
Here's the thing about King Kong that we don't realize is that we can never watch it like the audience did in '33 because there was nothing like that before.
They thought it was real.
Well, I don't mean just visually.
Yeah.
Like, there was nothing story-wise about something like that happening. Mm-hmm. The closest thing would have been The Lost World,
which was great. It still is.
But that was more of an out-there premise than King Kong. And the reason I say that is, and a lot of people don't realize that the mountain gorilla wasn't even confirmed to exist to the Western world until 1902.
Oh, wow.
It's relatively new, the concept of these large gorillas. And this is around the time of Ripley's Believe It or Not and all that kind of stuff. being very popular, and I think the Komodo dragon and the panda were all discovered around this time.
Yeah.
So there's this belief that you could find these mysterious animals.
Giant
that you've
mysterious
heard,
animals.
yes. And for them to take this, it was an easy premise for that audience to buy. It was exciting. It was something that you hadn't seen before, and now we've seen it, us, 150 times doubled over, you know? So when you're watching that, I try to put myself in the shoes of the person in 1933 that hasn't seen that before, and not judge it based on, oh, I'm so bored right now.
Yeah. They were excited to be watching a movie in the theater.
Yeah, this was a talking.
Yeah, it was a talking.
No, it's just...
kind of a novelty.
It's a great movie. Some of the visuals are amazing
yeah.
for the time, and Willis O'Brien is just an unheralded genius, I think.
Yeah.
I think Harryhausen stole a lot of his thunder.
Oh, yeah. So Harryhausen took what he learned from O'Brien and, like, just did it better, I think.
He did it better, but he also had better technology available to him.
Yeah. No, he invented new technology to make it look even better.
Yeah, but I mean, by then, things were moving along that it was easier for him to be helped.
Mm-hmm.
He had an audience, he had, Willis O'Brien was going in blind, and I think he did great.
Yeah, he did. No, absolutely. Because without this movie, we wouldn't have Harryhausen, we wouldn't have had Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, and we wouldn't have Godzilla.
And it all comes back to Godzilla.
Yes, Godzilla. Thank you, King Kong.
So, okay, what were you going to say about it? Because that's just my idea about it.
What was I going to say about King Kong? Is that I enjoyed it thoroughly. See,
you get so mad that I talk too much, and then you say that.
No, I don't get mad that you talk too much. It was an excellent movie. Like you said, it starts off slow, but I mean that's how these kind of movies are. It's part of the genre, I guess.
Well,
it's about the build-up because they discuss something on a mysterious island that no one's ever been to, except some sailors that escaped with their lives, and they get to the island and there's the natives and everything, and there's all this build-up, like what's behind this giant wall in the door.
Yeah.
And then they get out there, and there's dinosaurs galore. There's a giant gorilla beating the shit out of everything.
He gets in so many fights.
And
I love every fight. He wins it in a unique way, and then he's so proud of it. It's like they took the time to animate him playing with the T-Rex's jaw.
Yeah.
They took the time, for him to beat his chest. Taking the time to do stuff like that adds such a great element to movies. I think that's a problem with some of the CGI. They don't take the time to make it...
They don't have the
personality. They make it realistic looking, but not realistic acting.
Yeah.
Miyazaki's great at this with his animation.
Mm-hmm.
He has I don't know if you've seen My Neighbor Totoro, but he'll the first 10 minutes of the movie, you're just watching these girls get used to their new house, and you watch them put their shoes on, take their shoes off. I mean, somebody had to sit there and animate that.
Yeah.
That probably took a week just to draw these little kids putting shoes on. You're like, who's going to watch this?
Yeah.
But it goes like that in a theater.
Yeah.
And it adds an element of realism that draws you into the world that you're watching.
Mm-hmm.
And even though it's unrealistic looking claymation, when Kong does something like that, beats his chest, plays with the T-Rex's jaw, tickles Fay Ray, when he does stuff like that, it makes him more real.
Yeah.
Because of his behavior.
Yeah.
You buy it. Even though he's not visually looking real. His behavior,
he's a character.
You're willing to invest in it.
Yeah.
It pulls you in. So that's what's missing from a lot of movies now. What was missing from a lot of the King Kong movies after that.
Oh, yeah.
You want to rank them?
Yeah. Why not? Well, we know which one's number one.
Number one is the first one.
Yeah, hands
Which
down.
is easy to say with a lot of series.
What would we agree on for number two? Because I brought up...
I told you, and we did it jokingly, but I told you number one is the first one, and after that, whatever.
Yeah.
And I said it jokingly, but really, it is whatever, because...
Well, the direct follow-up was like a short cash, and they're like, wow, we did good with this movie.
You could tell they were surprised at the success.
Yeah.
Let's fast-track this.
Let's make a 70-minute movie with one returning character, worse special effects, because they introduced Baby Kong, and all he fights in the entire movie that I can remember, I haven't seen it in a while, is like a giant bear that threatens Denim and some girl he drags to the island. Why he keeps bringing women to this island, I don't know.
It was a cash-in. Yeah, I think the real spiritual successor to Kong is Mighty Joe Young, but I don't want to rank.
Yeah.
I can't rank that.
You can't rank
in the
it.
series.
So all right. So number one's King Kong.
Number
hands down.
2 is sort of a two-way tie for me, and a lot of people knock these two movies, but it's between Escapes and Lives.
I'll go along with that.
King Kong Escapes is just fun.
It's hysterical.
It is hysterical.
The monster
And the Blu-ray. If anybody who hasn't seen the new Blu-ray, the print is amazing.
It looks like a brand new movie.
Yeah, it looks amazing. So definitely check that out.
But yeah, we just watched that today as well. We were cracking up.
It's funny. It's fun, and it sort of gets the character of Kong. I'm not.
He
completely.
fights dinosaurs, and then he celebrates afterwards with a chest beating.
It's sort of. I mean, not completely, but it's fun to watch.
And then he fights his crappy mechanical double that has the power to use high beam headlights from its eyes to blind Kong.
Yeah.
And then they battle up Tokyo Tower at the end, and it's hilarious. I love it.
And the reason it's a two-way tie is with King Kong Lives. Don't if you ever get a chance to watch the 1977 King Kong, don't. It's long, it's dry. The suit is bad, other than the face. The suit is bad.
Which is surprising because Rick Baker created the suit and wore it during the production.
Well, Rick Baker.
Did he make the suit, or he just
made the head,
okay,
and was very upset about how the suit looked overall. And he said basically it was the cinematographer that made that movie look as good as it did.
Oh wow!
I think Lives. I love Rick Baker. I love his gorillas.
Yeah.
But it doesn't save that movie for me.
No.
And you don't.
And there's no dinosaur battles, so it's boring as hell.
Well, instead of Fay Wray.
Who was the actress in that? Now I'm sitting here, I'm like, okay, Nathan.
It was no, I want to say Faye Dunaway, but it isn't Faye Dunaway.
No, it's not Faye Dunaway. No.
Who cares?
Okay.
It's her first movie too. She's on American Horror Story now. That TV show.
Yeah.
That's all I can think about her.
And Jeff Bridges there is the dude.
If you watch, if you ever watch it, if you're trapped in a room and you're taped to tied to a chair and they're making you watch this movie, just imagine Jeff Bridges as the dude and you'll get through it.
It helps.
But don't ever watch this movie if you get a chance. Just watch something else. Because it's just not. It doesn't get Kong right. It doesn't get.
He's a molester in this one.
It doesn't get the woman character right because she's just this flighty, suicidal maniac that doesn't fight for herself and just seems to just. I really think she's on drugs the whole movie and they didn't show it.
Seems like it.
And it has a horribly miscast. I forgot his name.
Charles Grodin.
The evil. I like Charles Grodin, but he's just not good in this.
The evil oil entrepreneur.
Him and Jack Black just will go down in history for me as the worst King Kong miscasts. It's not even worth talking about. But the reason I'm talking about it is because of Lives.
Yes.
Lives, a lot of people say it's a bad movie, and it's because they're right. It's a bad movie, but it's fun. It's fun to watch. The suit's better.
Yeah.
About the best concept you'll get for a movie like this.
They put a robotic heart into Kong to save him, and then he escapes because they discover a Queen Kong elsewhere in the world. So they bring her nearby. He hears her roaring in a pen that's not too far from where they're keeping him. So he breaks free and saves her, and then knocks her up, and they have a kid.
It's just ridiculous, but it's fun to. I'm telling you, it's fun to watch. Just sit and watch it, and just don't think about it.
It's got. We were talking about the other day. Billy Bob Thornton has a cameo in it as a guy that taunts Kong when he's trapped under a rock slide.
It's not a great movie, but it's fun. You know what? It's tonally, it's like a Swamp Thing kind of movie. It really is, where nothing important is happening. You know you're not watching a good movie, but it's fun to watch. It's along the lines of something like that.
Okay, so those two were tied for 2. So what's number 3?
Versus Godzilla, because Godzilla gives it a bump for me. Obviously, I don't like the ending, the non-ending that it has, but
the ending that's had fans arguing since it came out.
Yes.
And there's only one ending, by the way. There is not 2 endings to that. That's an urban legend.
Yeah. No, the thing is, with that movie is that it was like a quick cash-in kind of thing along the lines of Son of Kong, where you had these properties that you could bring people to the theater for.
And what was interesting about it is it was originally King Kong. It was a script for King Kong versus Frankenstein, where the Frankenstein monster was going to be this amalgam of all these African animals sewn together and brought to life through like electricity, and Kong was going to fight this big like weird creature.
Which would be worth seeing.
I still kind of hope one day that movie gets made.
The human story isn't so, like, if you're going to watch a Godzilla movie and sit through the human story, this one isn't so bad.
Yeah.
But this feels more like a Godzilla movie because it's mostly Toho. And the suits, I don't like the Kong suit at all.
I'm not a big fan of the Godzilla suit. His head's too tiny. And he's afraid of electricity.
They had to. That's the thing. It's like it's 3, but there's so many red flags.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they had totally changed all of Kong's attributes just to have him even match up with Godzilla. So
they made him gigantic.
But it's something to watch. It's not as bad as the other ones, which I'm going to get into here. Obviously, at the very bottom, go ahead and tell everybody it's Son of Kong. I don't like that one at all, and I think we would agree on that.
Yeah, that's disappointing. So you would put Peter Jackson's Kong above Sonic Kong.
I would put Peter Jackson's just a notch above the 77 one. Just a notch.
Okay.
But I think they have... I don't like them for different reasons.
Yeah.
I don't like the 77 one because it takes too long to get something you didn't want to see anyway.
Yeah.
I don't like the Peter Jackson one because it takes everything that was good about the first one and it's like, well, let's just times it by 3. He fought one T-Rex, let's fight 3, you know?
There was one, like, Brontosaurus, let's have a fucking stampede of them.
Well, the other thing is, too, about that movie, like, the humans just do outrageously superhuman things that they shouldn't be able to do. If they're doing that, they're never in peril. I don't feel scared for them.
Yeah.
I don't feel anything. I'm just watching objects move. I'll go look at the highway if I want to do that. You know, it's just like, it's not interesting to watch. It's not... The CGI is good. I think it's another good Andy Serkis performance, but it doesn't save the movie. There's just too much.
Yeah.
And like I told you, I think we watched 2 Kong movies, and it took 196 minutes, and the Peter Jackson movie, just the theatrical cut alone, is 187 minutes. So it takes almost as much time to watch his Kong as it would 2 other Kongs. If these podcasts, I hope they do, if these last until December, we're going to do a Hobbit podcast. I'm going to give you my summary judgment on that.
Okay.
But it will relate to this, and that he
has no restraint.
He has no restraint. Yeah, I told you that earlier.
Yes, you did.
He has no restraint anymore. He was brilliant as a young director when people would tell him, no, you can't do that. Or he didn't have the money for it.
Yeah.
Now he's got the money, and he has nobody telling him no.
That
and
happens
he just
to
does
a lot of
whatever he
directors.
thinks. He does whatever he thinks. And it's just too much. You just got to reel it in a little bit, and it'd be fine.
Yeah.
He could take the Kong movie that he made and just cut it down, and it'd be 100 times better.
Yeah.
So I can't rank it any higher than 6.
Okay.
6 or 5, whatever. It doesn't matter.
So our official ranking then is King Kong at the top. King Kong Lives and King Kong Escapes at number 2. Number 3, King Kong vs. Godzilla.
Yeah.
Number 4, what would that be, the 70s Kong? Or
no, it'd be either... I'll go with Jackson.
Okay, so Peter Jackson's Kong at number 4. Number 5 is the 70s remake of Kong. And then at the very bottom, Son of Kong. And
to tell you how important ticket sales are, the 70s one is the most lucrative one of all of them, according to inflation.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's interesting. So maybe it was chalked up to advertising back then?
Well, it was released in 76, and it was a year after Jaws. People would go to the theater then.
Plus, there's name recognition because they're like people's parents are like, oh, I saw King Kong when I was a kid.
Going to the theater was something to do back then. It's not anymore.
It was a big event.
Yeah.
Now it's just like, oh, what do you want to do? Oh, go see the movie.
Because television sucked.
Yeah. Now
television is pretty good now.
TV got better.
It's a lot better than it used to be.
It's way better.
How would you agree with those rankings? Or?
Yeah, I'm down with that.
I
like the Peter Jackson Kong more than you, but I'm okay with it being on the list at number 4.
when I was sitting watching the movie, I thought I was going to like it because this is my first viewing, and I remember feeling this because it opens like with all this great 30s Depression era imagery.
Yeah, they nailed the time period in that movie.
And it's got this homeless guy who picks out a kiwi apple and takes a bite out of it. You see that? I was like, oh, he's being smart, because he's a kiwi. And he's taking a bite out of the big apple here, and it just like, oh, he's gonna have fun with this, and it was gone like that. The first 40 minutes of the movie is just foreshadowing for how Kong is gonna react to her burlesque stuff.
Mm-hmm. which you didn't like.
I
tried to
don't
make
need it because I feel like I've seen it within the same movie. I don't need that.
Did you also notice the Dead Alive reference when they're on the boat and Adrian Brody's like typing a script for the movie?
Oh, and he gets all... Yeah.
And there's a crate, an empty crate behind him that says Sumatran rat monkey.
Yeah.
I love little things like that, but I hear where you're coming from.
Yeah. It feels like you can't put more thought into the superfluous things.
Damn it, I can't say it either. Superfluous.
There you go. You can't put more, like the stuff on the fringe, like the stuff that accents the movie. You can't put more thought into that in the main story, and they did. Of course, they nailed the visuals. They put millions of dollars into it. You have to nail the visuals at that point.
Except some of the shots when I first saw it in the theater were horrible. The Brontosaurus stampede, among them, the actors, you could tell they were running on a green screen. I was waiting to see someone get stepped on, and some guys do in the background, but it almost looked like the actors weren't there. I think they fixed it since they've released it to DVD and Blu-ray, though, so it does look a little bit better.
I'm igniting a lot of frustration in modern film when I talk about that. Because I just saw a great movie that was made in 1933.
Yeah.
And it's rewatchable.
Yeah, it is.
And there's no way I'm going to sit through Jackson's Kong again.
Yeah.
It's just too long.
I also love about the original that they built a full mock-up of his face and his feet and hands.
Yeah.
So, like, when he's attacking the native village outside the gates, when he breaks through the doors towards the end, and he's just, like, smashing huts, and he's picking people up and eating them, or, like, chewing on them and spitting them out, or throwing people on the ground and stomping them into the dirt for fun.
Well, and here's where the other ones got it wrong in relation to the first one. The first one works on a lot of metaphoric levels. Mm-hmm. It's like how it's really sexist in the way it functions, because the whole movie is really about how woman tames the savage beast in man.
Yeah. And ultimately causes his downfall.
Yes, woman is the downfall of man is really the story going on in Kong. It really is. It's all there. You cannot argue with me on that. That's what the movie's about. It's sort of biblical in that sense.
Yeah.
The Adam and Eve thing.
Yeah, I know I followed you. Biblical.
Yeah, but
I got
it works metaphorically. You can argue about it, or you can enjoy it on the surface.
Yeah.
It works on a number of levels, and it does that because it doesn't go out of its way to beat you in the head with something, and it does it all in a reasonable runtime. It's cut down. The reason that the runtime's reasonable is because it's so damn hard to shoot that movie.
Oh, yeah.
And they did it on a backlot. It's like a backlot movie. That is not a mainstream movie at the time. That is like something somebody's like, let's make this.
Yeah.
And they're out in the parking lot, You lose a lot of that with the other movies because
and Peter Jackson's
Fay Wray functions simply as woman screaming at man.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay? When you try to make Fay... what's the... Andaro? The female
She's
character...
She's Andaro in the original.
Whatever female character that interacts with Kong... She
Her
can't be very vocal about how she is as a person. She has to be like a cardboard cutout.
Yeah.
And he's this cardboard cutout of man.
Yeah.
It's all about the relationship between men and women.
The interaction between them, yeah.
People don't realize that when they're watching it. And you know what? The other thing, it works metaphorically on a number of levels, because it does, because there's a great thing in Inglourious Bastards, Quentin Tarantino's Inglourious Bastards, where they're playing that name game.
Yeah.
And they put the cards on their head, and the one guy's got King Kong. And he thinks that he alludes that they're talking about the African slave experience in America. And he's talking about King Kong.
Yeah.
Totally works that way.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But do any of the others work that way? Absolutely not.
No.
So
they're just monster movies.
They're inspired by a great movie, but they lose a lot of the inspiration in that.
What was the second one about? It was like man. Well, actually, even the Peter Jackson one, it was just greed. It was like the driving point behind the characters for those.
That was in the 70s.
It was a little bit in the 30s one. Denham's like, we can make more money if we bring him back with us. But he felt kind of bad after everything went down,
Well, the 70s one had so much integrity that it cashed in on the energy crisis that we were having at the time, because
they came to the island looking for oil in the 70s one. That was the reason they were there that time.
And they found Kong.
And then the oil was useless, so we'll take the gorilla.
Well, the problem with that is they kind of accidentally find the gorilla. Everything's by accident at that point, and you lose all your metaphors.
Yeah.
You don't lose your metaphors with the original one, because he goes out of his way. The whole beginning of the movie is about him. I gotta find a woman. I gotta find a woman out there. There's gotta be a woman in this city, and I'm gonna find her, and I'm gonna take her to an island, and we're gonna find animals and film her in front of these animals, you know. So he's gotta find a woman. And then he goes and he finds this giant monster man.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So you lose all that when you do these other stories.
Yeah.
They lost that with the Peter Jackson one because they're going by numbers with that one. He loved the original, but I don't think he understood anymore why he loved it.
It was kind of a carbon copy up to a certain point.
But not a good one.
Yeah, no.
You can't carbon copy a movie.
I do like one scene in that movie because it's.
You can't carbon copy a movie because Gus Van Sant proved that with Psycho.
Oh, you're very. I still have yet to see that. I own it, and I've never watched it because why would I watch the remake that's just a shot-for-shot remake, except for Vince Vaughn whacking it while peeking in on Anne Heche.
It's not as if she were a maniac or a raving thing. She just goes a little mad sometimes. We all go a little mad sometimes.
So the scene I wanted to address was cut from King Kong at 33, was when everyone tries to rescue Anne. They run across that bridge. It's just a log over the ravine. Khan finds them, shakes them all off, and they fall to their deaths. Well, originally there was going to be like spiders and scorpions coming out of the woodwork and eating those guys and killing them, but they didn't do it in the end because it was too morbid. So Jackson decided to add it into his version, and I think it's one of the more effective and scary scenes in the movie because there's no soundtrack in that entire scene.
That was a very good scene.
And the scene that bugged me the most, the scene that bugged me the most in that, like, I mean, there's like giant crickets and stuff hopping on people and eating them, and like there's claws coming out of holes in the walls and grabbing people, was Andy Serkis's death.
Where it swallows his head.
Where those weird worm things come up out of the ground and they surround him, and like one grabs his leg and then one just like engulfs his head. It was like watching a friggin' Hellraiser movie.
It was a horrifying scene, and it showed you, I guess, what could have happened in the original.
Yeah.
Nothing in that scene feels necessary, but it's horrifying to watch.
It is.
My only hang-up from a zoological standpoint is those animals wouldn't live harmoniously if they were that ravenous with anything that dropped down there. But
well, that's like any Hollywood movie. Eight-legged freaks. They have like 30 different species of giant spider working together to eat people.
Yeah. Yeah, it is like any Hollywood movie. That's exactly right. But that was a horrifying scene, and it felt like the most. It felt like a breath of fresh air in the movie. Where like, oh, finally he's doing something he wanted to do, and it's creepy.
Yeah.
But it felt like something that needed to be done because it was new.
Yeah.
Unlike the other 2.5 hours of the movie. So, I guess what I'm trying to say here is keep it trim. Keep it trim, Hollywood. Keep it trim like you keep your bodies. Don't have your movies be fat and your body skinny.
Well, we've discussed that before. Movies keep getting longer. Like they're on average of 2 hours now. And I think we're going to hit a point where people are just going to get sick of sitting that long in the theater.
I think we're already at that point, actually.
I think so. Well, if A Million Ways to Die in the West is any indication, that's the main complaint, is the movie's too long. So.
How long is it?
2 hours.
It feels too long at 2 hours? It must be horrible. I think 2 hours is a decent runtime, but you have to be watching something worth watching in 2 hours.
Yeah, I'm cool with
I think these 2 and 20 minutes, 2 and 40 minutes, it's outrageous. Unless you have enough story for it.
Yeah.
Don't do it just to do it. And don't do it because you're doing a trilogy and the first movie was that long.
Oh, God. If
you only have enough story for 2 hours, make it 2 hours. Don't come up with 30 more minutes so that it's all equal throughout the whole thing. But that we're getting into December already.
We are. So we better just cut it off here. What are we going to be doing on our next podcast?
I don't know.
I'm all through June. I'm going to be doing. I'm going to have a heavy focus on Jaws and shark movies on my website. So, would you care to throw your hat into that arena?
Yeah, we could do shark movies.
Shark movies. We could talk about the knockoffs of Jaws because
there's a lot of them.
Along with Alien and like Star Wars, Jaws have to be like one of the most knocked off films of all time.
Yeah, and not even just counting sharks.
Yeah.
Like just the way it goes about the story.
Yeah, you know what? Shark stuff. That's what we're gonna do next.
We'll have plenty to talk about there. Not like this time. All right, guys. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, thanks for listening again. And again, if you enjoyed what you heard, leave comments below, like us on YouTube, share us on Facebook, retweet us on Twitter. Our last one was pretty well received. So, yeah, if you like it, we'll keep doing it.
We also accept complaints.
It's a lengthy process with lots of paperwork, but yeah, we accept complaints. But yeah, thanks again for listening. Thanks again, Steve, for joining me, and we'll see you next time.
Later.